Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a rivalry so deep, so bitter, it would eventually ignite one of the biggest wars in all of epic literature. But this story doesn't start with armies and banners on a battlefield. It started in a palace with a bunch of kids. No, this massive conflict didn't kick off with some grand declaration of war. It began way smaller, way more personally. It started in the hearts of two sets of royal cousins, all growing up together, right under the same roof. So, on one side, you've got the five Pandava brothers. Think of them as the golden boys, skilled, admired, respectful. And then, on the other side, you have their 100 Kaurava cousins, led by the eldest Duryodhana. And they were always living in the Pandava shadow. And you know that feeling, right, of always being second best? Well, for one prince, that feeling started to rot. It soured into something way, way more dangerous. All because he just couldn't stand not being number one. Duryodhana's envy really zeroed in on one guy in particular, the Pandava brother Bhima, who was just ridiculously strong. Every time Bhima showed off his power, even if he was just fooling around, Duryodhana took it as a personal insult, a total humiliation. And that resentment just started to bubble up. But here's the thing, this envy didn't just grow on its own. Oh no. Duryodhana had a little voice whispering in his ear, his uncle, Shakuni. This guy was a master manipulator. He had his own beef with the family, and he saw his nephew's jealousy as the perfect weapon. It's kind of crazy how someone else's voice can just pour gasoline on the fire of your own worst feelings, right? So the two of them, they cooked up a plan, and this wasn't some heat-of-the-moment thing. No, this was cold. Calculated. They decided to get rid of Bhima for good, and they disguised the whole thing as a day of fun and games. It was personal, sneaky, and just absolutely chilling. But you know how it goes with even the best laid plans. There was one major thing they didn't count on. Let's call it fate. Or maybe the strange, powerful beings living at the bottom of the river. So there's Bhima, out cold, sinking to the bottom. You'd think that's the end of the story. But it's not. He wasn't just drowning, he was traveling. The river currents pulled him down, 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 right out of our world and into a whole other one. The mystical kingdom of the Nagas. And this is where things get absolutely wild. These Nagas, these divine serpent beings, they start biting him, and their venom, which should have been the final nail in the coffin, actually did the exact opposite. It acted as an antidote. It neutralized the poison from the feast and, bam, he wakes up. This whole assassination attempt completely backfired. Bhima ends up impressing the Naga king, who gives him this divine elixir to drink. And get this, it gives him the strength of 10,000 elephants. Talk about irony, right? Duryodhana literally tried to kill him and accidentally made him a superhero. Okay, so Bhima gets back, stronger than ever, and he spills the whole story to his brothers. Now, this is a huge turning point. The eldest brother, Yudhishthira, he makes a tough strategic call. He says, we keep quiet. Why? Because pointing the finger at Duryodhana would tear the kingdom apart, and that's a fight they just weren't ready to have. Not yet. So you've got this massive, dark secret just bubbling under the surface. The tension is palpable. And right into this powder keg walks a new character. A teacher who's about to change everything. Picture this. All the princes are just hanging out, playing with a ball, and whoops, it falls down a deep, dry well. They're all standing around totally clueless about how to get it back. Then, this skinny, kind of ragged-looking holy man just shows up out of nowhere. And what he does next is just mind-blowing. First, he takes a few blades of grass, mutters something over them, and throws them down the well one after another, forming this perfect chain to pull the ball right out. As if that wasn't enough of a mic drop, he then borrows a bow, shoots an arrow down the well, and it comes back up with his own ring, perfectly hooked on the arrowhead. I mean, come on. This guy was clearly not just some random wanderer. This was Drona, the master. The princes run back and tell their great-uncle Bhishma what they saw, and he instantly knows who they're talking about. He recognizes genius when he sees it and hires Drona right then and there. And that one decision, it was a real game-changer. It put all the princes, both the Pandavas and the Kauravas, under the same legendary teacher. So now, the competition is on a whole new level. It's not just about who's the strongest anymore. Under Drona, it becomes about skill, discipline, and mastery. And this shift, well, It's going to lead to a really tough, really uncomfortable moral test. And right away, one student just shines, the Pandava prince Arjuna. He was the kid who was always there, soaking everything up, practicing relentlessly. I mean, this guy was so dedicated, he would practice archery in the pitch black of night, just so he could learn to shoot by sound and instinct alone. That is next-level dedication. So naturally, Arjuna becomes Drona's star pupil. Drona even promises him, "I will make you the greatest archer in the world." But, and there's always a but, isn't there? There was someone else out there, another young warrior, hidden away in the forest, who looked up to Drona just as much. His name was Ekalavya. He was a prince from a forest tribe, and Drona had actually turned him away, refused to teach him. But did that stop Ekalavya? Not a chance. His dedication was so intense, he just made a clay statue of Drona, treated it as his teacher, and taught himself. And he got really good. One day, the Pandavas are out hunting, and they stumble upon a dog. Its mouth is filled with arrows, but it's not bleeding. The arrows are so perfectly placed, they just keep it from barking without hurting it at all. They're amazed. They follow the trail and find Ekalavya. And for Arjuna, this moment is a total gut punch. He realizes, wait a second, this guy might actually be better than me. Arjuna is totally shaken up. He goes straight to Drona and says, "Hey, what about your promise that I would be the best?" So Drona goes with him to find Ekalavya. And when he gets there, he says, "Okay, you consider me your teacher, then it's time to pay the guru's fee. You know, the dakshina, the traditional gift of respect." But what Drona asks for, it's just brutal. And Ekalavya, without a single moment of hesitation, in what has to be one of the most heartbreaking displays of loyalty ever, he pulls out his knife, cuts off his own right thumb, and just hands it over. Just like that. His future as a legendary archer gone in an instant. And with that act, Drona kept his promise. Arjuna was now, without a doubt, the greatest archer. But it leaves you with this really unsettling feeling, doesn't it? It makes you question everything. Loyalty, ambition, fairness. Was Drona just a man of his word? Or was this a terrible injustice, a profound betrayal of a truly devoted student? It's a tough one, and there's really no easy answer.